Welcome back, everybody, to the Wild Faith Podcast. My name is Evan Bungham, and I have my co-host Luke Timmons with me, and we are on episode 50. We're counting down. We're 2 weeks away from a full year of episodes for you guys, and couldn't be more excited about this one because we are finally getting into turkey season. Not yet, but just about. So, Luke, how are you doing today?
Doing good. It feels closer than it is with, the National Wild Turkey Federation, convention's kicking off today. Feels close, but it's still, 2 months away?
It's one of those funny things, though. I like, you start, you're scrolling through Instagram and looking on YouTube and stuff, and it's like, all right, there's more turkey stuff starting to pop up and here and there, and then it's like, okay, and then like we just did our talk with Sam last week, and I'm like, all right, well now I'm kind of, I can feel it in my bones, and that's all I want to do. is turkey hunt.
I heard you. I got some permission on a couple new spots, and so
really,
it's like sitting out. It's like snow, cold, inch of snow today, 3 inches this weekend. It's like,
tell me, you guys are getting snow?
Yeah, it's kind of doing a little bit of something. We're supposed to get maybe an inch today and a couple more this weekend.
I don't think we're getting any. It's cold. I mean, I woke up this morning, fired up the truck, and it was like 22 below.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cold. That's where it's like it feels close when I'm inside, but as soon as I step outside the door, I'm like, oh yeah. We still got a little ways.
It blows my mind. I still don't know how. We could probably do a whole separate podcast on that with like a biologist or something. I don't know how turkeys survive the winter in Minnesota.
I've seen a lot, so they're doing all right.
Well, it's like one of those things where it's like, they're starting to pop up more and more across the state. But, like I've seen them up in Roseau. I haven't really been up to Duluth enough to see if they're up there, but like seen them on the north side of North Dakota before. And it's just like, how do they survive? Like, it's just crazy. They're just like whitetails, man. They adapt and overcome, and they're just tough critters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all that I have to say about that. It was snowing the one day when I was driving around looking at properties and stuff, and there's
exciting new properties.
Yeah.
Promising.
One was just getting permission again on a spot I had last year. And then the guy was like, well, you could hunt here if you want to. I'm like, okay. So
don't have to pull my arm.
Yeah, don't. Well, and it kind of goes along with like what we've talked about before is like if you treat your landowners that let you hunt right, things work out. Like, I had Jenna bake him a sourdough loaf, and he's just this old farmer, lives alone, and, he was tickled pink. He's like, oh, you don't have to get me nothing, to come out here and hunt. And
is this the cow farmer?
Yeah, you met him. Yep.
Yeah, nice guy.
Yep. Yeah,
he's got to fix his road, but other than that, he's a nice guy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so it pays to be kind and courteous, and you don't have to go out and pay him a bunch of money, but just take care of him, give him a gift card to Quick Trip or something or whatever, and just butter him up a little bit, because then you get to, like this year now I got another new spot, so
exciting.
Yeah, but their turkeys were out moving around, and so. They're tough old birds, but it's getting close. I'm starting to like pull some of my calls out. I got like 3 mouth calls in the truck that I've been
nice.
It's funny. Like if somebody it's too cold to have my windows down, but like if someone pulled up alongside me at a gas station or like a stoplight, they'd be like, "What is wrong with this dude?" Because I got like turkey sounds playing on YouTube, and I'm just sitting there going, just trying to mimic it as best I can, but.
It's funny because, PSA announcement for people listening, if you can't run a diaphragm call and you would want to practice, get going. But, like, what a great time. If you got road time or you're in sales, whatever you do, and you get a lot of drive time, that is the best time. Unless your wife and daughter are in the car and you'll drive them absolutely bad. But I'm at least happy. I was going to say, at least Nora's to a point now where she's like, well, I want to do it. Like, can I have a call too? Like, she finds it so fun, So like, I have to go. One of these, I'm waiting for Fleet Farm to drop all their turkey stuff here, and I'm gonna probably go buy her like 2 or 3 calls just that she can have and destroy because I have so many calls. That's like one thing where it's like now I need to get in that mode of where it's like all right, I gotta start getting my turkey vest all set up again. Gotta get all my diaphragms cleaned off. Make sure some are good. Like
I had a couple nasty ones that had like hair sticking out of them. Dirt.
That's an idea. Maybe we come up with like a. Wait, if anybody's listening, we'll take patent rights for it. But like a contact solution type solution, we could put diaphragm calls in so they don't get like disgusting.
Just brush them off with water and spit.
I've done mouthwash before. If that's crazy,
yeah,
tastes a little freshy mint.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Phelps. I bought their 3-pack last year.
Nice.
From Shields, and for someone that's not like, I mean, I'm like 4 years into actually like turkey like hunting turkeys, not just nonchalantly. They held up, and for someone that's like I said, getting into turkey hunting more and more. Like, they're pretty easy to run. Like, the biggest thing I would say, like, for people is, like, if you're gagging on them, use them more. But sometimes you got to trim them.
Well, I was just going to say, you can cut them. Like, I've cut a ton of calls. I'm at a point in my turkey career now where, like, I kind of want to start making my own calls and, like,
there you go.
Get into that side of the business of where it's like, I used to tie my own flies as a kid growing up and used to cut my own arrows and make my own arrows, and now I'm lazy and I don't do it anymore. But it's like, I don't know. It's something I haven't even looked into how much that is to kind of get set up with it. It'd be kind of fun though. But yeah, definitely trim your calls.
Yeah,
like if they're too big.
Wild Faith series, that'd be sweet.
Come on. Yeah. No. We wanted to kind of bring you an episode of warmer thoughts of Turkey Talk, and honestly, a lot of our content we're going to start pushing out here pretty soon is going to be turkey hunting stuff, just because it is right around the corner. I mean, like, we're talking like
it's gonna come fast.
Sub 80 days.
Yeah, 2 months. Yeah, it's going to be fun. We just dropped the turkey e-scouting, so go check that out on YouTube. Kind of did a deep dive on what I thought would maybe work if you're doing it. But, there's going to be a lot more. I know, Evan, you're kind of the turkey whisperer, so I'll be excited to listen to some of your turkey videos.
We got a lot of cool vlogs. We have some really exciting, bigger, influential people this year in the turkey space that we're going to have on. And, I mean, like, it's going to be a fun year of killing birds. How many birds we kill, I don't know. I think we're going to shoot for maybe 5. We'll see.
5 on camera would be sweet.
5 would be sweet. I think that's pretty realistic. I mean, we'll have to kind of take it with a grain of salt. I got a kid coming in June, so I'm already pushing the envelope in a lot of ways. But I think we'll be able to get it done either locally, or we talked with Sam about maybe doing a Wisconsin trip or something. But
yeah,
and no South Dakota for you.
No, nobody wanted to go.
I'm sorry. I would go.
I
would go
know.
with you in spirit.
I know. Yeah, I know. It's just like, it's one of those trips where it's like I could do it myself, but it'd be hard to do it with just myself and try to run a camera and running and gunning. And
after doing that hunt, I could not. And we've talked about this, but like, so if anybody hasn't been out to the Black Hills, you can go kill turkeys in the prairie, or South Dakota. We're talking. You can go kill them out in the prairie, which is fun. Yeah. Done that. You can go kill them in the foothills, which are like farther southwest, which is fun. But when you're in the true Black Hills, I was not expecting how grindy that was going to be and how well those birds moved.
Yeah, I mean, they can clear a mountain as fast as they clear a cornfield.
It's wild. Yeah. I mean,
and like we were talking before we hopped on, like that's like a trip you go on with someone you could go to the Boundary Waters with, where it's like I'm not gonna and I can't handhold you because it's
you're looking at that. It's not a mountain. We'll just say large hills.
Giant hill.
But it's like, we are going to get to the top of that hill and kill that bird. Either you're coming with me or you're standing at the bottom.
Yeah, and it's time to go now.
But that's like the hard thing is it's just like, if you were running a GoPro, I could understand filming it that way. But like, dude, to solo film that hunt would be hard. Like I got for my hunt, and we'll drop that hunt here in a couple weeks. But like, I got incredibly lucky on how that worked out, because like I was like halfway up a probably 7,000 foot hill, and we are probably at maybe like 3,500 feet of elevation, so I didn't have to go crazy high and killed those birds. But like the run and gun up and top of those hills solo with a camera and with a bow or a gun, whatever you're going with, would be hard.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, it's gonna hang out around here and do as much as I can.
Nice. That's good. Yeah, and like I said, we're going to be dropping a lot more turkey content for you guys, which will be fun. Some fun guests, and we talked about it. We are going to do Turkey Talk again. Maybe a little shorter renditions for everybody, but we're going to have hopefully a lot more valuable like scenario type stuff of insights rather than kind of going through current conditions like we did with Rut Talk. So I think that'll be maybe a little bit more applicable for everybody out there trying to, go through these different, because like that's what we're going to kind of talk about today. Like turkey hunting is one of those things where I feel like anybody can go out and kill a turkey, but when turkey hunting gets hard, it gets hard, and it gets to a point of where it's like you need to know the bag of tricks, what to pull out, how to get a shy bird to come in, what decoy set to use. Like that's where it gets fun for me, where it's like that game of chess really just starts to happen.
Funny you should ask, because I got some, or funny you should say that. I got a couple scenarios.
Do you really?
Yeah. A couple early season scenarios for you if you're ready.
Bring it on.
All right. I got a couple I really like. All right. So, like I said, it's early season. It's opening day.
Okay.
You're set up against a tree. Toms have been gobbling off the roost all morning.
Where are we at?
Back home.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so they've been gobbling all morning. The woods is fired up. They fly down, start working toward you, but hang up just outside of range. They're strutting and gobbling, but they're not closing that distance. What do you do to break them free and bring them into shooting range? What are you changing, whether it's calling, decoy setup, or are you going to try and relocate without getting busted?
Sure. And, early season's so fun because birds are grouped up and you're seeing tons of turkeys. Exactly. But brings in a whole layer of like crazy dynamics where it's really hard to pull birds off of real birds. And I look at it from, if the first thing I would do, I would be running like 3 calls at once, trying to make myself bigger than I'm bigger. And like, so are these birds like, can I see them? Or are they just like off over like a knoll and I can't see them?
Dealer's choice. I don't care.
Okay. So like 2 scenarios. Like if I can't see the birds, I think that's an advantage for me because I can move and get a position where like, I just think of the farms that we hunt just because I know them like the back of my hand, but like I would position myself to get where I'm out of sight and try to close that distance. And then I'm going to be putting myself in a zone of where, saying I have a shotgun that, all right, I'm within 60 yards. That bird comes over top that hill.
Let's say you're a $150 from those birds. They're not coming in any closer. You have a little bit of elevation or change to get. How close are you going to try and get to them? From
close as I can.
Yards?
Closest to like visually, I can see them and they can't see me.
Give me yards.
So if they're 150 yards and let's say there's a hill. And the hill the hill to them is 70 yards. I'm going to try to get within probably 20 yards of that hill, and I'm going to get them to that hill and kill them on that hill. Okay. But I'm going to try to make myself sound like I'm 5 birds. And this is where having a diversity of calls and being able to run calls is really helpful because you can only run one mouth call at a time unless you are like a wizard. And I don't know how you do that. But you can run a slate call and a mouth call at the same time. You can run a box call and a slate call, or you can run a box call and a mouth call at the same time. You could do, cadence of it, and that's all depending on too of like how birds are acting. Like, are they fired up? Are they
they're fired up,
gobbling their heads off?
Gobbling, they're strutting, but they're not closing.
I'm gonna try and make myself sound like I'm a flock of birds.
So are you switching from more of a soft, like, because like off the
aggressive?
Okay, you're moving away from that soft call.
Yep. Yeah. If they're broken right off the roost and I didn't get any birds to come to my setup, I'm going straight to just like full on kill mode, and I'm going to be running super aggressive cuts because I'm going to try to break off maybe 3 of those, because like it depends on where you're at. I mean, like if we're talking about the farm, like there could be 20 toms in that group and 10 jakes, and most likely those jakes are probably going to come in first, and it's all that kind of like subordinate order of like how they work, you know, like you might get those jakes coming first, but I might be able to pull off 2 toms from that group, and that's all I need.
Just need one.
But yeah, I would say probably super aggressive calling, close the distance.
If you're moving, let's say like you said, moving close, trying to get close to those birds, are you gonna bring the decoys with or a decoy with?
Yes. Depending on this is where it's like it might take 3 hunts to figure it out. Like that day they might want a full strutter and a bedded hen. They might want a half quarter strut jake, and it depends on the you know, like the diversity of your farm. Like, do you have a lot of jakes in the farm? Do you got a lot of toms? If you got a lot of toms, probably gonna run like a solo jake with a bedded hen. Like that's pretty easy to carry, like a 1-man band, you know. But like
that's kind of foolproof too.
Yeah, I think that's, if I had to pick one setup, I would go with a 3/4 strut jake with a bedded hen. Like it works. What's that saying from Anchorman? Works 60% of the time, every time.
Every time, yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, it's true. Yeah.
Yeah. But I would say that's like probably what I'd like to do. If I had a bow, it would be a lot different.
It's a good point you bring up, and I've always tried to think about it from both mentalities, because like bow is like you're usually in a blind.
Yeah.
And to try and reposition yourself and move the blind it's
been done. It's hard.
It's hard, but you can do it. It's just you got to move quick and make sure those birds don't pop their little heads over that hill.
I will say with the bow though, like you can, I mean, like I've had a lot of fun with it, and you guys will see some footage that we've had in years past. But like, you know, the big thing with a bow, obviously stick bow, that's even harder. But like with a compound, I highly recommend getting yourself a good set of like tripod sticks for your bow, that you can have your bow, sit it up vertical where you're not moving. Because like I look at it where if you had enough time in the woods and you've practiced enough, you could do what you do with a bow just like you do with a gun. But you have to that's where having good camo, like blending yourself in with layers of depth of cover, I think is super essential. But like when it's run and gun with a gun, man, like, dude, close that distance, get those birds to come in, whack them and stack them.
Sweet. I like it.
What else you got?
All right. Same sort of scenario. It's maybe not opening day, but it's early season. You're positioned near a known roost area. Like you know where you're hunting. You've been there. Sun's coming up. Toms are firing off the roost. They're not down yet, but a group of hens do fly down and head straight towards those toms. And when the toms fly down, they're going with those hens. What is your strategy on that one? Where it's like, how do you adjust to compete with, like you just said, it's
real
hard
hens
to pull birds off real birds.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to try more aggressive calling? Are you going
I'm hunting early. That brings up a great point, because like early season, like you can't hunt hens. Obviously, you could kill a bearded hen in Minnesota, but like I'm hunting hens at that point of where it's like the toms will come within time. At that time when it's early season like that, the birds are fired up. They're just they're going nuts. I mean, it's like the full on rut where I feel like they don't really know what the hell is going on. They're not like solely seeking out.
They're screaming like elks, yeah.
Yeah, they're just like social. It's more of like a social gathering, you know, especially that first like hour and a half. And so if I had 2 hens, or just say it's a group of hens that broke off and those toms followed them, I'm going to try to call those hens in. So if I got one dominant hen that's just cutting up a storm, she's pissed off, I'm going to do my best just to piss her off, mimic her calls, get her to come in. Because if I can get hens to come in, the toms are going to come in. Yeah. So that's probably my number one.
Would you try and do what you did in the last scenario and move? Like, or just you're going to stay patient?
I'd probably stay patient. I'm a rule of thumb of where it's like, if it didn't happen in like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, I'm probably out. But like, it's also that hard time too, or if you got a bird that's fired up, or if you got a hen that's calling and all of a sudden it's just dead quiet for 15 minutes, like those birds are probably moving, and that's the worst time to move, and that's when everybody moves. And it's happened to you and I how many times where it's just like, oh, it's really quiet, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, they're right here. It's like, oh, shoot. But yeah, no, I'd probably try to mimic that hen as best I can to get her to come in and just really piss her off, because I feel like on that type of scenario, that's probably your only bet, because If you can't get those hens to pull off, those toms are not leaving. But that's totally different game plan. You get to about 9, 10 o'clock and those birds break up. Different. And it's also, I would say it's different too if you're in woods or if you're on field edges.
What's your difference in those?
So I look at it, if you're on a field edge, you're going to have the advantage of having decoys, of where those birds can visually see your decoy set. So like if I had, that's where like early season, I like to run a ton of decoys early season. If I can have 6, 7 decoys out and I have people to carry them, great. Like we're going to make it like we have a whole herd of turkeys that are over here, or flock. And that's where like sitting on a field edge, I might have that advantage where I could have 4 hens set up. I could have 2 feeder hens, a bedded hen, and a 3/4 strut drake or a full strut, DSD tom. But now if I'm in the woods, you better be good at calling, or you better be able to have like a curious hen that's just like, I'm going to come check it out, because you kind of lose that advantage of having that visual appeal. So I think that'd probably be the biggest difference.
Hunting hens, I like it.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Not hunting, but hunting.
Yeah, you're using them to bring in the toms. Exactly. No, it's good. You want another one?
Yeah, you fire away, man.
All right. I gotta think of one more here. All right, so we're doing morning hunting because it's usually what's relative. It's same thing. Toms are firing off the roost. You don't really hear any hens. But as soon as they so they're firing off the roost, you're not really hearing any hens on the roost. But as soon as they hit the ground, those toms are dead quiet. What's your next move?
The fun mornings.
Yeah, those ones suck. So just dead quiet after fly down. What's your move? Are you gonna?
Where did I set up at? Am I in the woods or am I on the field edge?
Go through both.
Okay.
But are you gonna try? You have a general idea probably where they went. Like, are you gonna try again? Move, stay patient, silent, or are you gonna try doing different calls to maybe try and provoke like a shot gobble or something?
Yeah. So if birds go quiet, it's a hard one. Like those are the worst mornings of where
our entire South Dakota trip.
Yeah, where it's just like, what do we do? What am I doing wrong?
Yeah,
Why aren't they responding? Birds are there. I mean, like that's the point of the South Dakota trip. Birds were always there. It was just they weren't talking. That's more of a late season thing, but it does happen in early season too, depending on weather and a whole bunch of other circumstances. But I'm probably going to be patient. It's going to be a waiting game. It's going to be more or less of, especially, I don't think it matters if I'm on the field edge or if I'm in the woods, but difference of strategy. Now, if I have a gun, and like you said, if I can get a shot gobble, I'd be willing, especially with the diversity of farms that I have, of where it's like, if I blow a hunt, it's not the end of the world. It's just another hunt, and I go back at another day. But it's like, if I hear a shot gobble all of a sudden, we'll just say it's 9:30. I'm probably going to use topography. I'm going to use the woods. That's the hard thing about early season in the woods. It's pretty clear. You don't have a lot of green up. And, I'm going to use whatever advantage of creek beds, whatever it is, to navigate, to try to close that distance, because there is something to that where I think it kind of goes both ways. If you got a tom that's firing back and forth from you, sometimes if you got 2 guys, it's nice to have your shooter get closer and have your caller drop away. Because you're going to get that bird. He might hang up at 100 yards, but if you can get that guy with a gun, close that distance, he's going to get that shot off, compared to if you just were the fire into him, he might drop back, and you might play this game of cat and mouse all morning. But if that's the scenario, I would say I'd probably be patient and wait. But if I heard him fire off 2-3 times, if they're gobbling at crows or whatever it is, I'm going to try to close that distance without getting picked off. If I had a bow, probably just going to hang tight.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah. No, there's so many nuances, and like we should almost just do like a little tiny PSA at the bottom of the video. These are personal experiences that I've had. These are not tried and true methods that are not guaranteeing anybody to go get a bird.
Might help, but it
might help.
Still animals.
But yeah, no, these are some. I love going through stuff like this. These are just always, what would you do? What would you do? And everybody's kind of got their own niche of what they do. Early seasons, it's just one of my favorite times, because you have a chance to see a ton of birds. You get probably the most I would say bang for your buck in the mornings. You want to go hear 50 gobbles? Like, that's the time to go do it. Like, it's awesome. And if you want to fight with hens, what a great time to go do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that brings up a good point because like that bird Noah shot last year, it was evening, but we had birds on us all afternoon, and then all of a sudden these two toms came out down this fence line, but all the other birds were 100 yards to our left, and we're like, there's no way these birds are going to come over. But all it took was me calling enough and often to piss off that boss hen that she came over, and then they were coming over because, and yeah, it's good. Yeah.
And I want to bring up like a funny story because I think it's relative to early seasons where it's like, those mornings when you get out late or a little bit later than you expected, and you know where birds roost, but you don't know where they roost if you weren't there the night before. You have a general idea. And thinking of, I can't remember if this was last year or 2 years ago for you and I, of I think it was the bird that you shot, and we roll in. 2 years ago, we rolled in that morning, and we were probably, I'd say, about 20 minutes behind schedule, and we brought a blind too. It's one of those things where it's like, personal advice: if you got a gun, I don't really, unless if I have kids, for sure, sit in a blind with a gun. But if you don't have kids with you, yeah, I would just pitch up against a tree because it's less noise. But how we got away with this, I don't know. So anyways, we get out there. We're about 30 minutes behind schedule. Gray light. We roll in. It's quiet. I don't think we heard a lot of gobbles. And as like wherever that twilight is, you're hearing gobbles and stuff. And get the blind set up. All of a sudden, we hear some gobbles go off, and they're literally like maybe 25 yards behind us. They were literally right on top of us. And there's something to that too, where I was going to say with like getting set up in the mornings of where there's a fine line of being close and too close. Like I think the bubble for me, I feel really comfortable within about 60 yards if you're out of line of sight. But like we were literally underneath the tree, like that giant oak, and how we got those birds to come in, I don't know. Like they must just not have seen us or what it was. There must have been enough underbrush but yeah, those
Ghost Recon.
Don't go with the bow. I think you shot yours with a bow though.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. I think we tried doubling that day and it just didn't work out, but
I've never shot a turkey with a gun.
What?
Yeah.
No, you haven't.
Nope.
Dude, killing with a gun this year.
Yeah, but see, like the tough part about Minnesota is like if I own my bow, I get the whole season.
See, I got a taste for it now. Now I've got I'm like after Sam kind of put that plug in my head, and then after killing two birds with a gun last year, it's like this is kind of fun.
Yeah, it's a lot easier for sure.
I think of all the hunts that I've had where it's like so close but no cigars, and it's like, man, if I would have had a gun, that bird would have been dead. But it's all relative,
Yeah.
And I think my goal this year, I am going to try to reap another one with the trad bow. I think I gotta start shooting. I gotta get my garage cleaned out so I can start shooting my garage. But I think that's my. If we make the Wisconsin thing work, I think I'm going to roll up there with a shotgun.
Yeah.
If Minnesota, I'm about 90% sure I'm committing myself to killing with the trad bow, and hopefully do it on public. But we'll see.
That would be wild.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got some questions for you, too. I mean, like, you just got done doing, I would say, a pretty extensive e-scouting video. And like I said, if you guys haven't seen it yet, go check it out. Luke did a really good job with it.
Thank you.
But okay, so scenario question for you. I am new to an area, just moved up north, Brainerd Lakes area, like where I live. Where am I going opening day? Obviously, I would hope that you had the ability to do a little due diligence of actual scouting beforehand. But saying that you've had minimal scouting, what are some of the key things that you're looking for from a public land perspective? Because obviously you're going to be playing into the factor of that you're not just necessarily hunting turkeys, you're hunting people too.
Oh boy, I don't know. I've never hunted public, so for turkeys. I mean, are you talking like what am I looking for when I e-scouting?
Yeah,
or what am I looking for?
Just like e-scouting.
Yeah, I mean, like I kind of got in with like that video is like, I'm looking for, like Onyx is nice because you can do million different things with it, but like you can look for trees that could be like an oaks. You can filter for looking for an oak tree. Now it'll highlight an area that probably has an oak within it. Doesn't mean it's right there, but there's in the area. So I'm looking for something like that. I'm looking for some big mature trees that I have. Now I don't know that they're going to roost there, but there's a chance that they're going to roost there, right? They're not going to roost in some dink little tree. So if I can establish whether there's some big pines, some big oaks, some sort of big hard tree that they can get up into, I'm going to look for that. If there's hills, I'm probably looking up ridge lines, for trees that match both those things. What else? I mean, food sources is obviously key. It depends on time of year and stuff. Like early season, you're looking at green fields. And then it's so tough because like you could do, and I talked about it in that video, like you can only do so much when it comes to e-scouting and still got to get boots on the ground. So like I may sacrifice, like you said earlier, it may take me 3 hunts to figure it out, but I may sacrifice those first 2 hunts to just try and figure out what the heck these birds are doing. I may not push. I may stay further out on that piece and work my way in. Now it's public, so I may try and push. It's so hard with public because you just don't know who's going to be out there. I personally don't. I wouldn't hunt public land for turkeys. It's just with gun too. It's out there, and there's just too many iffy things. So it's like I would stick to areas where I have a good idea that there's hopefully not going to be someone there. But like if I'm just solely hunting the turkeys, I'm going to sacrifice a hunt or at least the morning to figure out where those birds are. I'm going to start doing some soft yelps. I'm going to start maybe do some owl hoots. Kind of like we were talking earlier, try to get maybe a shot gobbled. At least that way I know like, okay, there's birds this way. I'm going to start working my way that way. And I'm going to use the topography to my advantage. I'm going to hunt some travel corridors, just like deer hunting. I'm going to hunt saddles. I'm going to hunt benches where it's easier for a turkey to move from roost to food to strut zone, right? So you're trying to, just like deer hunting, you're trying to cut that deer off, trying to cut that turkey off from where they are to where they're going to go. So odds are that turkey's going to come down off the roost, and he's either going to try and go feed or he's going to try and go breed a hen. So it's like, I'm either going to try and cut him off before he does either of those two things, or I'm going to try and get in a position where I think he's going to go after that. So like you said, with the being patient, you may not kill one in those first couple hours, but once he's maybe got with that first hen, you may get a chance now that that hen, this is probably getting more into mid-season, but like you may get a chance where that turkey's going to breed that hen and is going to go look for another hen. So, there's so many variables, and that's a roundabout answer, but it's going to be completely dependent on the turkey in the area, especially public. And I don't think you'd probably catch me on too much public land around here.
You have hunted public though, South Dakota.
Well, yeah, but that's you're right. That's for me. That's way different because the chances of me running into somebody out there is like.
Well, and I think there's a difference too of like I look at the public land opportunities I have up here.
Yeah,
we have hundreds of thousands of acres of public tracts in central Minnesota, northern Minnesota, compared to southeastern Minnesota, where you might be getting 5 guys that want to go hunt that little 30 acres of woods.
Exactly.
Where you are dealing with high pressured birds. And that brings up another good point too of like, how do you hunt highly pressured birds? Like we can go down that rabbit hole too. But like, I look at it from the e-scouting side. There's also great scouting you can do preseason. Like get out in your truck, go just listen at 6 o'clock. I'm trying to think of when the hell the sun goes down at that time of year, but like we'll just go listen in the evening, hear some birds. I'm actually going to drop a video here for a vlog, hopefully in the next week or two of scouting right now, because I think this is a great time to get out. Like, I don't know if people ever notice that when you're hunting late season, temperatures are cold, food's scarce, and then all of a sudden you come up, I'm just talking hill country in particular, woods in particular, but like all of a sudden you come to an area and it just looks like a massacre happened or something like that, to where there's, a 200-foot section that is just ripped up to, you think it was 20, 30 deer that are in there eating acorns, whatever it is. Well, it's turkeys. Turkeys just scratching the ground trying to find food. It's not squirrels, it's not deer. And I think there's a great opportunity right now, especially, it's hard to say if those birds are going to be there in the spring, but at least getting intel knowing that, oh, there's turkeys here somewhere, and then that's where it kind of ties into, or to your point of where you can only do so much e-scouting from a terrain feature. You got to get boots on the ground. You got to get out in your truck. You got to go listen at night, listen in the mornings, whatever it might be. That's a great thing I like about turkey hunting, where it's kind of the working man's kind of hunt, because you can get a lot of knowledge in 30 minutes of a sunrise and 30 minutes at sunset of where a lot of these birds are.
Yeah, well, especially if you can put them to bed. If you can watch them fly up into the tree, there's a pretty damn good chance that they're going to be there in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and that's like 100%. Like, you can get a lot accomplished e-scouting prior to give you ideas of where to start looking, is basically it. E-scouting is what it is. It's going to give you an idea of where to start your hunt. Now, you could be right on, and there could be birds right where you thought there was going to be, or you could be way off and completely restarting when you start putting boots on the ground. But, like with the roost trees, that's a big one, because where those birds are starting and stopping. So, like, if you have an idea of where maybe a roost tree would be, like, you're once you get in there, you're looking for feathers, you're looking for droppings, you're looking for maybe some scratch marks on the ground early season when there's not so much vegetation yet, where that, okay, at some point in time, a bird roosted here. Now, they may not roost there every night, but you get an idea of, like, this is where they may be.
No, that's really good. Gets me excited. It's like I said, it's coming fast. It's going to be here and before we know it. And like I said, we're going to start dropping some more turkey content. And but yeah, I'm excited. I got to get my turkey stuff ready. I got to start shooting my bow. That's PSA announcement as well. Start shooting your bow.
Yep.
Probably don't need to get your gun patterned yet, but
it wouldn't hurt.
It's
just one of those things where it's like, if you get it done now, then you're not the day before going, oh crap, I didn't shoot my gun yet. So,
well, speaking of that, I need to get a new sight on that 16 gauge I got. I rolled that last bird I shot in South Dakota. I did not have a sight. I think it broke off like the second day of that trip.
Yeah.
So I just got no sights.
There you go. Get her done. Yeah, man. It's like you said, it's gonna be here quick, but we got a lot of things that you said. We got a lot of vlogs, kind of style videos dropping, as far as how to turkey hunt, how to do what we're talking about today, decoy placement, calling scenarios, e-scouting, scouting from the truck, that kind of stuff. So be sure to get ready to check out the YouTube page pretty much every week from now until turkey season for that stuff. And then on a couple weeks here, we're gonna be hitting that year mark. We got some kind of cool stuff. I don't know if you want to drop that.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's crazy to think that we're almost on a year now. And, thankful for all of our viewers, thankful for all the people that have been influential in helping us get to where we're at today. But yeah, no, it's been fun. This was year one. I mean, like, we learned a lot. We sucked at a lot of things, and we're going to try to continuously keep getting better for all of our viewers and listeners out there that keep providing valuable content, hopefully influential content that can help you come to Christ, or maybe it's going to help you out in the turkey woods or in the deer woods, whatever that might be. That's kind of our whole mindset and behind the mission. But no, we've been working on a film for the last, I'd say, probably a year now. I mean, we've have a lot of hours behind the camera of, like, documenting and filming this, but we're doing a really cool story that will drop on hopefully the end of February here. And I'll let you kind of go with it, but no, we did a really cool film on your dog Rogan and you, primarily Rogan. I mean, like, we want to talk about you, but it's really about
he's a superstar.
It's really about Rogan, and it's like one of those things, like, you watch all the Sika films, and guys in Midwest with Joey did a really good job with First Light on his dog, and it's one of those things where they're your lifelong partner, for as long as that they live. And, like, would have loved to done one on Copper, but it would have just been on how many bags of food Copper's eaten in his lifetime. Love him to death. Not a hunting dog, but no, it's a really cool story. I think you and Rogan did a really good job, and no, it's just been a fun one to kind of put together. And It's probably our first short film, I would say.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And
it's that like that first cinematic type video, but yeah.
Yeah, and we went through, and I think we filmed. I couldn't tell you how many days that we filmed with that one, but it was a lot of fun to put together. I guess on my end, it was a lot of fun to put together and kind of document you guys and your life journey that you kind of had together. And the film's just called Rogan. I think we'll end up dropping it end of February. Hopefully, on our 52nd or 52nd episode, we'll probably do a podcast on the making of it, because there was a lot of, I would say, eventful
fun
things,
stories.
fun stories that happened with filming it all, and it was a lot of fun. And I think we're gonna tie into a really big giveaway with it as well. Not sure yet what we're gonna do. We're gonna see if we can't partner with a couple companies and get you guys some extra cool stuff. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun one to release, and we're really excited to drop it for everybody. A lot of love, a lot of time went into it, so I'm excited. It'll be good, and it'll be something that you guys can have for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, I've seen like the rough cut, and that's it. So I'm
yeah,
eager
you can't see
it.
more, not until it's done.
Yeah, I'm eager to see it. So yeah, I'm excited. Like you said, it's been a fun year, and here's to many more years, and yeah. So
and we'll have a couple more. I think we kind of did that in our goals video we did a couple weeks ago, but. I think that is kind of our goal, is to try to maybe do like 1 or 2 short films a year, depending on what we have with our schedule. I mean, like, we're getting more and more busy with filming a lot of other stuff for content for you guys, but it's definitely one of those fun pieces to get out of work, especially for me, being this is what I do for a line of work every day. It is fun to be able to put together high quality production pieces of what really kind of shows the dynamic and diversity that we have as a company of things that we can do. Yeah, dude, I'm excited for everybody to watch it. It's a sweet film. I think we're sitting probably cut it at like 11 minutes, I think. So it's not too crazy long, but it's a great story.
Sweet. I'm excited. Can't wait to watch it.
Yep. Not until then.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, so I mean, it's gonna get fast and furious here pretty quick. It's gonna be fun.
It'll be, yes. Once I would say probably about middle of March, it is gonna be full cylinders blast, getting ready for turkey hunting and turkey content. And then after that, we'll transition to like we just did last year. We'll talk about some fishing stuff, some off-season stuff, get into food plots, and then before you know it, we'll be right back in the fall. I will say the one thing we did miss on this year, and I will blame it on the cold, but we didn't have a lot of ice fishing stuff, and we will do ice fishing stuff in the future. It was just here in Minnesota this year, we had a interesting winter. We didn't have a lot of snow, and we had really, really cold weather. And I think both our schedules were pretty jam-packed, but we're both not really, I wouldn't say we're both like die-hard ice fishermen though.
No, I go maybe one. It's like me in golf. I go maybe once a year.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's, I like to, and I get time. I just have not had time on my side. So I'm hoping that we can at least get maybe like 1 or 2 vlogs out for you guys here before the interview. I definitely want to try to get out a trout fishing one, because I think that'd be fun. Trout through the ice is like one of my favorite things.
Yeah. Get after it.
Yep. But yeah, that's kind of all we got for you guys today. Kind of a short and sweet one, but super exciting that we're getting to finally a year. So.
Yep. Good stuff. But yeah, be sure to check out all of our stuff on either, however you listen to this, either it's Spotify, Apple Pod, YouTube. If you're on YouTube, we hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything we're doing, whether it's educational vlog videos, the cinematic stuff, Friday Fuels, devotionals, all that. And
yeah,
same thing
speak on that quick, just because that's a new one. We haven't even talked about it yet. But tell us a little bit more about the inspiration behind the Friday Fuels.
Yeah, I wanted to go a little bit more, we do our weekly devotional drop usually on like a Tuesday, and those are short, sweet, 45 seconds probably. But I wanted to just go a little bit deeper with those Friday Fuels. And so it's just like a little bit extra, listen to it with a cup of coffee, give you that little bit of extra fuel to get through your Friday and onto the weekend, so you can spend that time with, those who matter most, and that's your family and friends and stuff. So really it's just kind of a deeper dive into a devotional, really, not anything super long, 5 minutes max, but just kind of taking that, 45-second devotional and expanding it so it's a little bit more. You can maybe get a little bit more out of it, a little more raw, a little more real, just speaking to you from, what we got going on. So, yeah.
Cool.
First one dropped last week. Next one's going to drop this Friday. Like I said, Friday Fuel.
Yep.
So, yeah, be sure to check those out. And like I said, hit that like, subscribe button wherever you digest the old Wild Faith. And until next time, peace out.
See you guys.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through faith in the great outdoors. We hope today's episode has inspired you to seek God's presence in the wilderness and deepen your connection with nature. If you enjoyed today's discussion, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the Wild Faith Podcast on your favorite platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode, and you'll continue to be a part of the Wild Faith Podcast community. We'd also love to hear from our listeners, so please don't hesitate to reach out with your questions, comments, or topic suggestions. You can connect with us on social media or through our website. Your feedback is important to us and helps us improve and tailor our content to better serve you. And always remember, the great outdoors isn't just a playground for hunting and fishing. It's a sanctuary for finding solace and spiritual renewal. As you gear up for that next adventure, I pray you find God's presence in the crackling of a campfire, the thrill of reeling in your catch, or the quiet solitude found in nature. Until next time, thank you for listening to the Wild Faith Podcast. Take care, and God bless.